Amelia, and today I am going to be talking about Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. Holy shit. It's been about a month since I've read it as well, so I'm gonna get some details wrong, probably. Hopefully not, but like, very high likelihood of that happening. So I'm gonna just chuck a spoiler warning for this whole video. Tower of Dawn wasn't my favourite in the whole Throne of Glass series or whatever, mainly just because I don't like Cole that much. Cole? But I would definitely recommend reading it because there's some massive, like, revelations in this beast of a book. And I would definitely recommend the Throne of Glass series because, like, it's a wonderful fantasy, if you're into fantasy. If you're into contemporary, maybe not. But fantasy, yes, definitely. Read it and enjoy it and love it because the main character is amazing and it's a good series. Anyway, I'm gonna just move into the whole spoilery section. 3.8 stars. Yeah, just mainly because I don't like Cale that much. He's just a bit of an idiot, really. And I'm just gonna move into the spoilery section. So see ya if you haven't read Tower of Dawn yet. You better go, because I'm gonna start talking about some things that we found out in here. So, holy shit. One thing. So Maeve's a Valg? How did I not see this coming? I was like, nah, she's just an immortal, like, really old fairy queen. Nope. She's a mother friggin' one of the huge evils that caused the Valg kings to come to, Irelia? To that, like, this world. What the hell? Anyway, I'll come back to that probably. Let's start at the beginning. So it begins with, as I'm sure you know, since you've read it, hopefully, what's her face? What's his face? Cale, being all like depressed. I felt like this was very much Heir of Fire for Cale. Like there was the whole character redemption, you know, like climbing out of depression with someone else, helling him, yada 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 yada. Anyway, so he's all depressed and he's like, I need to do things for my king. Ugh. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. And like, of course, like the Kargan doesn't want to help him because like, why would you jump into a foreign lands war? Like, really? That doesn't make sense. And then you're introduced to like all the kids. And I'm like, is this gonna be like some friggin' like inner circle from A Court of Mist and Fury shit? Like, are we gonna get that really cute type bot? But no, they all just want to fucking kill each other, don't they? Which was an interesting dynamic for characters to have, and really only two of them were very horrible. The rest were pretty good, apart from Duva because she had a Valg prince inside her. But she's lovely, like underneath the Valgness, isn't she? Not that we really met her, but all the siblings liked her, so surely she would be. And then there's Sartak, who was the run person, the rune person, the Ruck person, the flying birds that like are gonna be battling the wyverns and the witches in the last book. He was gorgeous. He was like Rhysand. I got like a lot of like Rhysand feels from him, and I completely expected him to do a 116 character and be completely evil because I'm like, this person's too good. This person's too good for this book series. But no, he ended up good. And then there's Cashin, who I got really friggin' frustrated with throughout the whole book. I'm like, can you just Irene or Urine or however you want to say her name? I like changed it in my brain from Urine or like Irene to Irene. But Irene and his like obsession with her throughout the whole thing and like all possessive, like he's like a fucking fae in this book. He's so possessive. He's just like, she's mine. Sending like these glances everywhere, being like, nah, back off, mate, she's mine. And it's like, no, she's not yours. She's Cale's. And also, I called that from like Cale's description. So this is the, as you know, because you've read it, this is the description that Cale gives when he meets Irene. It was her eyes that Cale noticed first. She likely stopped people dead in the street with those eyes, a vibrant golden brown that seemed lit from within. Her hair was a heavy fall of rich browns amid flashes of dark gold, curling slightly at the ends that brushed her narrow waist. She moved with a nimble grace, her feet, clad in practical black slippers, swift and unfaltering as she crossed the room, either not noticing or caring about the ornate furnishings. Young perhaps, a year or two older than 20. But those eyes, they were far older than that. Kale, you're fucking in love. You've done this whole like love at first sight thing, and then you're gonna have the friggin', I wrote it in my notes, I'm like, is Kale / Irene gonna be a thing? Yes. Amelia, yes, they friggin' were. Really cute thing as well, might add, because of that scene where like she gets him to stand up, like by infuriating him and like walking around, and I'm like, oh, you know him too well almost, even though he's hurting you, and like that's like a little bit could be like not healthy, but that was cute. For all the fluff it was worth, that was really, really cute. And they ended up being cute, even though like technically he sort of cheated on her. Nezrin, which is like a bit of a dog move, like Nezrin kept it in her pants, you can keep it in your pants. Don't do it where like the person, Cashin, which is where I was starting this conversation with, don't do it where Cashin's like in a 1 kilometer vicinity. Don't do that, because he'll find out. Luckily he didn't find out, I can't remember. Like they just like escaped and was like, oh, you've just eloped. Cool. And then like the only like evil ones apart from Duva was like Argan and Hazza, who was a manipulative bitch. Really? Like making Irene to get information about Aelin, which like Kale didn't know, but that was just a lucky guess. Pirate Bay. And then of course, because we've all read Empire of Storms, we know that Aelin was going to go to the Pirate Islands, and when Kale was like, the Pirate Islands, it's like, that's the last place you'd go. No. Actually, that's the first, well, second, technically, because she goes up to the sea dragon place in Terrasen. Irene, as like a test from the high healer on high, has to heal Kale, like the commander-in-chief of the man who ordered her whole family to be slaughtered. Like, I can sort of get where she's coming from when she's a bit annoyed at him. I can sort of get that. It'll be interesting to see how she reacts when she meets Dorian. It's still the son of the person who basically killed your family. Like, I don't know how easy that would be. Also, I completely didn't guess that Duva was gonna be the Vulg person as well. I thought, okay, this is gonna sound kind of stupid, but you know that part where like Nezrin is leaving the palace and like sees the queen walking by herself like in black mourning gear, and Sartak's like, by herself? You saw her by herself? What? Like, she shouldn't be by herself. Where's her guards? Yada 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 yada. I thought that she was gonna be the Vulg because like we didn't meet her, so like you couldn't like sense a dark presence or whatever around her. But nah, she was just grieving. Good timing, Kale and Nezrin, good timing. So I felt like not much actually happened in Tower of Dawn compared to the other ones. Like, you found out a lot, and like finally at the end you secure an alliance with the Southern Continent. But like I felt it was a lot of like character and world building, which like isn't a bad thing at all. Let's talk about some important shit that happened in this book. And that time when Irene is like, well, like asks like, were the 2 other Val Kings banished or killed? And Kale's an idiot and knows nothing, so he's like, I don't know, probably killed, like what does it matter? And she's like, she goes all like, because if they were merely banished to their realm, who is to say they aren't still waiting to be let back in? So does that mean that like endgame they're gonna kill Erewhon or like cleanse Erewhon with like Irene's power and light and stuff, but actually 2 more Val Kings are gonna come, which is gonna be a shit show? That would be an absolute shit show. I don't know though. Like, tell me. Let me know what you think. Oh, Nezrin and Sartak go to like the Run Mountains, the Tarvan Mountains. And that was really cute. I love like the whole rock thing and how they're birds. I want a rock basically. And like when they were describing, like, even though it was really sad and I didn't want the baby rock to die, in the spider bit and the little rocks running, I like imagine like a little baby penguin type like little waddle with like these wings. Or like, you know those birds, if you've seen but the one where the girl like gets shrunk and there's like fairies of the forest and stuff, and they like ride on birds. I imagined like his bird, like that little waddle, like the little, and then it got brutally killed and probably eaten by a spider. Yay! Go death! But anyway, so they go to this mountain and we meet, what's his name? Falcon, something or other. And legit, in my notes, I have written, he was perhaps in his late 40s, pale white lines etched at the corner of his eyes where he'd squinted in the sun or wind. And legit, my note was, is this the spider silk guy? And yes, it fucking was. Falcon was the spider silk guy, but he was also possibly, probably, like, no coincidences in this series, is Lysandra's uncle. What? How? How does this, like, Alicia's not alone anymore, and this is, like, that's good. Good for Lysandra, I guess. I legit thought he died, though, when they were rescuing, or trying to rescue the baby rocks, but, like, ended up just trying to do a mad dash escaping. And I'm like, oh, he sacrificed himself. But nah, he lived. Like all the characters do in Sarah J Maas's books. Like, cool. Thanks. Like, would have liked feelings because I like books making me feel sad. It makes it feel justified for my own sadness. Ha ha ha. And then, like, there was that quote where it's like, but he knew there were no restraints, no inner ones on how far Aelin would go to protect those she loved, protect her kingdom, and if someone was in her way, barred her from protecting them, no lines existed to cross within Aelin regarding to that, no lines at all. And like, that in itself, I feel like is character development for Chaol, almost not wanting to push her out of the whole picture, but being like, we actually need her to win this war. I hate that, but it's gotta happen. And the character development that you saw with him initially being like, the chair's a prison, yada yada yada, to the chair's not a prison, with his like little scene with the Kargan, where he's like, I need your help, I know that you're mourning, yada yada. And he's like, the chair was no prison, nothing made him lesser. Like, the character development in that, just for that scene, heart did a little sore. But then of course, he has to be dragged away and all that's like basically ruined. My little heart broke a little bit for him inside, even though I don't like him. He's just a bit annoying. And then they like find out that Maeve's a Valg queen. We wait for the Queen of the Valg. Harry Potter. We wait for the Queen of the Valg, the spider purred, rubbing against the carving, who in this world calls herself Maeve. Good? Not good, but like, okay. In my notes, I have legit fuck, not okay, shit. Aileen does not know what she got herself into. And yet another fuck. So like, spiders. A Valg handmaiden. Knew I hated spiders for a reason. They're fucking creatures of, like, Satan or something, and they should all be killed. But that, like, also no, because, like, ecology and the web of life. Get it? Web of life. Spiders. Okay. Yeah, that was bad, I'm sorry. So, like, Aelin is in shit now, but, like, I feel like now that we know that Maeve isn't just like a mad fairy bitch, she's an actual Valg queen, the real evil in this whole world, she's gonna burn Maeve out. Because Maeve's like an actual Valg, not a Valg in a human body, if that makes sense. And then Irene is somehow going to heal everyone who are, like, have the Valg as parasites in them. Also, Valg are parasites? Like, cool, but also a bit anticlimactic. I just would rather them to be evil characters. Also, the part where, like, backstory of Chaol with his father, like, kicking him out. Like, his father's a dick and he needs to go die in a hole, please. Chaol needs to run the Aniels, the Lord of Aniel, with Irene next to him so they can all be prosperous and they need to, like, just have a good life, please. Just, like, let these two live and have a good life. And when they went and healed the Valg parasite thing in his back, and, like, the one thing at the heart of it all, I'm pretty sure, was Aelin and her not being Selena but Aelin, and him being all jealous over Rowan, and I'm like, ooh, that's a sore spot for you, isn't it? Just get over it. She's not that into you anymore. You don't really like her even. Anyway, and finally, the last thing I want to talk about for like 2 seconds. That last fucking chapter, that hurt on a spiritual level. and you know that Shino's involved. And it's like, let's begin. I legit like wanted to throw my book across the room because that's not okay. You can't come back to Aylin for like 2 pages. That's not okay. I want to know that she's okay. Fucking Maeve. She needs to go be burnt into a crisp and deleted from the land's memory. Really? I hate her. We all hate her. She's worse. She's worse than Umbridge. Anyway, I think I've talked about this for long enough. So if there's anything else you would like to discuss, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Tower of Dawn. I'll see you in the next one.